Welcome, spiritual travelers, to another Mystic Owl Pick a Card reading. Today's theme is how other people see you and your strengths and weaknesses, what people think you are good at and maybe not so good at. We have 4 piles today: pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, pile 4. I'm going to get a rune place marker for each pile. There's, ooh, interesting. Pile 1, it's meant to be blank. Pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Pile 3 and 4 are similar. Please use your intuition to choose a rune. Remember, this is a general reading, so please take only that which resonates with you and leave the rest behind. Before we move on, I'd just like to send out a massive thank you of appreciation to all of those loyal subscribers or people that have watched and commented and sent likes. It's the comments that really keep me going, keep me inspired to do another video. So thank you to all for that. A special shout out to both Fanny and TT, some close friends of mine that have been really supporting me along the journey. Yeah, hello, hope you're doing well. But on that, let's move on to pile number 1. Welcome, pile 1. You have Odin's rune, which is the rune of the unknown. It's a rune of dealing with the deep subconscious, and I guess learning to be okay with not knowing the deep mystery of life. Interesting rune. Let's find out what other people think are your strengths and weaknesses by looking at your tarot cards. Your first card. Oh wow, you have the Hierophant card. Wisdom, beliefs, morality. Lovely. Looks like a praying mantis, I think, actually. You have the 9 of Pentacles in reverse, the 9 of Buttons. It says here, overextended, workaholic. And you have the 2 of Matches, progression, planning, and discovery. Okay. The first thing I see for you, pile 1, is a very diligent, hardworking group. With the Hierophant here, all about discipline and beliefs. And the card of the 9 of Buttons in reverse, it says here, overextended and workaholic. You're a very determined, passionate go-getter that really sticks to your dreams. A very stubborn individual, I sense. And that has both positives and negatives. You're stubborn in the sense that you don't change your mindset on things. I see that you probably have some really strong religious beliefs that you are very dogmatic about and very stoic with. You don't allow people to deter you from your own belief system. Very strong will and determination on what you believe in and following a certain pattern in life. But also very determined to achieve your goals. You're very dedicated to your work, I sense. It does say here workaholic. Sometimes you can probably maybe work too hard. People see you as a person that could stress quite easily at work by maybe taking on too much sometimes, or you tend to do really long hours. So you're very stubborn in the sense that you have strong beliefs that you believe in and don't allow people to sort of rock your boat or change your beliefs. You know who you are in that sense and what you want from life. But also stubborn in the sense that sometimes maybe you take on too much and don't allow other people to help you. I sense that you have the need to control a lot of things in your life. You like to be in charge of your own destiny to some degree. And at work, you you try not to share the load. I think you keep your work for your own. And it's not because you're greedy or or you want to impress anyone. It's because you just sense that like your work is your work and you want to take responsibility, basically. But sometimes we all need to ask for help, I think. So people see you as a very determined and disciplined individual, very hardworking and dedicated. Like I get a lot of like strong sort of Capricorn or Virgo vibes here. You have lofty goals that you want to achieve. You have big inspirations for life and what you want to achieve. Along with the two of what matches here, which is the card associated with like a very strong vision, being a visionary. You've set yourself some distant goals in the horizon, and you're going to keep working and working until you achieve those goals. A very disciplined individual, and people find that quite commendable. I think that's one of your positive traits, is the fact that you know what you want and you go after what you want, and you won't give up on your dreams and desires. But sometimes I think maybe there's a need for you to ask for help, or to allow that vulnerable side to show, and let people in a little bit. With the two of matches crossing here, I sense that sometimes you put your guard up around other people. Along with the Hierophant too, you put your guard up sometimes and like to show that everything is okay and that you're in control of everything. But sometimes maybe people can see that you just need help, and they want to try and help you through certain challenges that you may have. So that's something to be mindful of, Par 1. But as I mentioned earlier, I see a very like religious or spiritual individual, someone that has a very strong belief system. You may go to church or meditate or pray daily or regularly. People can see that that's a very strong aspect of your life, that your belief system and dedicating your life in some way to what you believe in is like a very important part of who you are as a person. And it impacts, I think, sometimes the people around you, not so much in a negative way. I think it's just the way that you interact with people can be based around your spiritual beliefs or your religious beliefs, in terms of trying to be kind and compassionate, or having certain things that you do at certain times during the day. Very routine and structured individual. I see that with the Hierophant too. Yes, a very like structured individual that probably likes to do things in a certain pattern every day. You get up at the same time, you go to bed at the same time, you eat at the same time, you take breaks at the same time, you go to the gym or go for a walk after work at the same time, and like to follow the same tracks. You're a creature of habit, I sense, Par 1, and people can see that in you. I do sense that sometimes maybe people think that you have potentially like some OCD traits, and that's not a criticism at all. I myself have some, OCD sort of mental health issues. So I think we all do, really. We all have those things in life that are just our idiosyncrasies, I think. You're very idiosyncratic. People see a very quirky, idiosyncratic individual, but sometimes maybe quite compulsive in your behavior, in terms of always wanting to be in control and wanting to be very structured in your approach to work and your life and how you treat and interact with other people around you. But I also see a visionary here, someone that has, as I mentioned, very lofty goals. You're a dreamer. You can be like in your own sort of dreams sometimes. I see an individual that like daydreams quite regularly, takes a break from the reality by, just taking 5 minutes to imagine your fantasies and dreams coming true. But someone that like is working towards their goals and their dreams too. And people see a very inspired and determined individual. There's a lot of fire in your chart also. I did mention I saw Capricorn and Virgo before, but the Hierophant is ruled by Taurus, which is the other earth sign. Lots of earth in your energy also. Very grounded individual, likes to be very structured. You make sure that you have enough money to provide for the needs of yourself and those people that you care for. So someone that is highly organized and disciplined in their approach to life. And people see that as a strength, I think. I mean, I know for me, I wish I could be a lot more structured and disciplined because it would make my life a lot easier. But yeah, I also see someone that sometimes puts their guard up a little bit and needs to try and break that down. You need to sometimes allow people to help you and let other people in. Moving on to your oracle cards. You have the ant spirit, time to collaborate, number 1. Okay. And you have the crow spirit. I love crows. Co-create with spirit. Lovely. All right. So time to collaborate with the ant spirit. I was mentioning with the Hierophant, a very structured and determined individual that likes to do things on your own. But I sense here that with time to collaborate, it's time for you to allow people to help you out. I do sense that you are a good team player, though. Pile 1, someone that works well in a team. Even though you like to keep your own work for yourself because you like to be responsible for your own work and achieve your own goals, I do see someone that is very wise and knows how to maybe delegate responsibility quite well. But sometimes it's just another reiteration that sometimes maybe you could do with maybe passing some work on to other people, or learning to ask for help when you're feeling a little overwhelmed with your workload or feeling a bit stuck. Ants work well in a team and they work for the greater good. I see someone that does work for the greater good, but sometimes you need to relinquish control, I sense pile 1. And with the crow spirit, co-create with spirit. As I mentioned earlier, a very spiritual or religious individual, someone that really holds that as one of their major priorities in life. You're dedicating yourself to your spiritual or religious beliefs. And that may come across in the way that you communicate with people, the way you interact with people, or possibly even the way that you dress. I see someone that is probably very conservative in their dress approach. If you are very religious, you may dress very conservatively, always dress well to impress, potentially like to cover up a lot of your body parts, or just doesn't really show yourself off so much in terms of the way you dress, I'm picking up on. But I also get an individual with crows being a bird related to being in the air and the mind, and the Hierophant with wisdom, a very, very intellectual individual too. You are highly intelligent, and I think a very sort of determined learner, someone that studies a lot for your own interest. If you become interested in something with the Hierophant here and that dedicative mentality, you will learn everything you can about it because it's just something that you enjoy doing. It's one of your hobbies. Finally, I see a group that in some way is giving themselves over to serving humanity or being of service to others, with the Hierophant and that mentality of providing wisdom and insight. The visionary here in the 2 of matches, along with the ant spirit, time to collaborate. Ants are a very sort of gregarious and social animal that work for a bigger cause in terms of actually providing for the nest and feeding the queen. A very workaholic mentality also. So someone that's very determined and dedicated to their job, but in some way provides to a greater cause or serves humanity. So you may be good in a role as being a police officer or a lawyer, potentially of service in healing like medicine, or a nurse. Someone that probably also commits to working for charities and stuff too, giving yourself over and being very generous by donating to a greater cause and giving your time to a charity or something like that. But a strong workaholic vibe here, once again, with the ant spirit too. Someone that is very dedicated to their work and their job, and probably also very strongly commits to a higher cause, whether it be your religious beliefs or your spiritual beliefs or serving humanity to some degree. And people see that as a strength, pile 1. It's something that people find very endearing about you, is your need and want to actually serve something bigger, and to be very generous and kind and protective of other people. Your final cards. You have the lower world in the past. And you have buried in earth, transference. I see a very family-oriented group too. And someone that is highly dedicated to, I guess, following the family beliefs or family traditions. The buried in earth card in transference is all about like downloading ancestral knowledge by spending time buried under earth and being a ritual in terms of like unearthing your own ancestral wisdom in the deep subconscious. And with your past, this is a group that has spent a lot of time with your family and actually like not only just spending time with family, but really getting to know the depths of your family lineage. Someone that might be into like ancestral like learnings and discovering your family tree, learning about your family history, where you've come from, maybe what your family members have done in the past, but a very family-oriented group too. And that might be part of your own religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs too. A very like spending a lot of time with your family might be part of that dogmatic religious belief that you have, or you're just a very loving and warming individual that likes to give yourself over to others, but also more so like your family and friends, those people that are really dear to you. I also see now a lot of earth in this reading too, with the 9 of buttons in reverse, the buried in earth and transference, being buried under the ground, and also with the past and the colors here, the brown and the red related to your lower chakras. Very grounded, hardworking, disciplined individual, but someone that has lofty goals that they want to achieve in life. And I sense that you have the determination and the will to achieve those goals, Pile 1. Just try not to be mindful of like taking on too much or to cutting people out. Remember to share the workload and to ask for help when maybe you've overextended yourself. Finally, for you, Pile 1, let's get some further messages from the Commonplace Tarot deck about how people perceive your strengths and weaknesses. But with the crow spirit too and flying through the air, you are going places. I sense that you're on the path to achieving your goals and you're working very hard like the ant spirit to get there. You want to turn that 9 of buttons upside down and be your own independent person, but be able to share your wealth, your wisdom, and your passions with like your friends and your family and the greater good, basically, humanity. I do see someone though, I'm picking up on an energy of someone that may have some anxiety issues too, Pile 1. With the man buried in the earth, sometimes you can feel quite restricted or overwhelmed and start to maybe have panic attacks if you take on too much. So your mental health is calling for you to remember to take time out and to not try and overload yourself with too many work priorities or taking on other people's issues and problems. Remember to like look after yourself and to protect your own mental health. Your first card, oh wow, okay. Synchronicity there. You've got the 9 of Pentacles in reverse again. A strong indication that maybe sometimes you can take on too much because you want to be impressed, you want to impress people, you want to stand on your own 2 feet and provide for yourself and everyone else, but I see a people pleaser, someone that is a bit of a people pleaser. You always want to try and put a smile on people's faces and try and like have people think the best about you. But sometimes you can burn yourself out or take too much on because you really have such lofty goals and you want so desperately to be the best at whatever you do. Your final card is the 6 of Pentacles, right? Once again, lots of earth energy. You need to balance out your energy in terms of making sure that what you take on and that your goals that you want to achieve are manageable and that it's achievable too. But also someone that really could do with like dedicating their life to serving the greater good. The Six of Pentacles is about giving and receiving, you know, giving yourself over to serving humanity, or being very generous and giving to like charities or people less fortunate than you. So you have a very strong, compassionate, giving mentality. And I sense it's part of your spiritual belief in your upbringing. So where you were brought up with your family, are very like family oriented and people oriented. But just try not to like give too much of yourself over, and to remember to ask for help, because people see you as someone that is highly independent, but sometimes maybe wants to be too independent and can take on too much, and it can lead you to feeling like burnt out or starting to feel quite stressed and anxious. I hope that resonated with you, Pile 1. If it did, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And let's move on to Pile 2. Hello, Pile 2, with the rune of Fehu. This is a rune associated with abundance. Basically, it's actually related to cattle, and owning cattle to be able to like trade, to buy food and sustenance, to provide for your loved ones. But it's kind of the rune associated with wealth and abundance, which is lovely. Let's find out how other people perceive you and your strengths and weaknesses, Pile 2, starting with your tarot cards. Oh, you have the Emperor card, authority, power. It says fatherly. Okay. You have the Two of Cups in reverse, disharmony, distrust, and tension. And you also have the Temperance card. Interesting. Patience, balance, and purpose. And that's really interesting, because the Two of Cups in reverse and the Temperance card are almost polar opposites for me. Temperance is all about being emotionally balanced, learning to moderate things in life, to like, you know, have good and bad, to moderate your work and your play, to be in balance with the universe and in flow. Whereas the Two of Cups is all about like maybe being emotionally unbalanced, sometimes reacting quite strongly to things, I sense. Being quite fiery or just quite emotional sometimes, maybe allowing your emotions to get the best of you sometimes. So what I am picking up on is that you are learning to overcome some emotional issues that you may have had in the past. You're learning to regulate your emotions. And I sense that it's because you've maybe had some issues with interpersonal relationships in the past, potentially. And that may be related to like the way you were brought up, with your parents sort of being quite strict on you, or maybe you felt that like some things in your upbringing were a little unfair, so you've learned some certain traits about reacting quite strongly or being very, very sensitive and emotional, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think if you are very sensitive, that's a good thing, in the sense that like people can tell how you're feeling, and I see someone that really feels the full extremes of the emotional range. Like when you are sad, you are visibly sad and upset. When you are happy, you're elated and like radiating joy and happiness and like uplifting other people too. Someone that like is a very powerful individual with the Emperor card here, and your emotions kind of affect the people around you, but you've started to realize that maybe you need to bring that back into balance a bit, with the Temperance card, and to moderate your emotions so that you don't impact those people around you so much. But also with the card of Temperance, somebody that knows how to balance their life in general, like to have time out when you need time out, that when you're at work, you dedicate your time at work and you're very conscientious and you're very efficient, but also likes to have fun. Like night and day, you realize that like having both things in life is a priority, in terms of like being able to give yourself over when you're at work and be the most efficient. But people really see you as a highly sort of powerful and energetic individual, someone that is very determined, and would make a great leader. There's lots of fire in this chart too, and I say that because the Emperor is ruled by Aries, the star sign, and Temperance is ruled by Sagittarius, indicating that you have a lot of fire in your chart. You're very passionate and very like impulsive and react quite strongly to things. Someone that does not hide their emotions at all. You let people know how you feel. And people see a lot of power and determination in you. You'd make a really great leader. And with the card of Temperance related to Sagittarius, you're going somewhere. You're dedicated to achieve your goals. I also see someone that people go to if they need like assistance in terms of, say, moving or, you know, as a helping hand in the neighborhood somehow. With the fatherly figure here in the Emperor, and also with Temperance about sort of moving and going on a journey, you're the person that will quickly like give a lending hand to people when in need. Yeah, cool. But definitely a very strong, determined individual, but a very fiery, impulsive nature too. I sense that when you put your mind on something, nothing will stop you. And that if you get a sudden thought or an urge to do something, then you don't spend too much time deliberating about it. You'll just go after it straight away, which can be both good and bad depending on what that is. So people see a very impulsive but determined individual here. Your oracle cards. You have the Owl Spirit. You see clearly now. Ooh. And you have the Giraffe Spirit. See the big picture. Okay. So those two cards have similar meanings to me. In terms of like knowing what you want from life and really going after it. It's as you see the big picture. So you've already seen in your mind's eye what you want to achieve in life. And you see clearly now, you also know the path towards that goal. With the Temperance card and the Owl, you've shot your arrow, you know the direction you want to go in. And with seeing the big picture and the Emperor here, you're very determined to not let anything get in your way. You will accept nothing less than what you wanted with your goal, original goal. Someone that I sense sometimes can be a little overbearing, possibly, in terms of your approach to achieving your goals. Not to say that you will walk all over people or anything like that, but you are just very bullheaded and yeah, highly determined. And sometimes that can come across as quite aggressive, I sense, Pile 2. So there's a need for you to sometimes be a little bit mindful in your approach with how you deal with other people. It does say here tension and distrust. Sometimes I think maybe you can come across as a little bit too aggressive or too forceful in your approach to achieve your lofty goals and to really want to get to that next stage. But definitely a highly determined individual. When you set your mind on something, nothing will hold you back. I also see a group here that potentially has some spiritual gifts. Seeing the big picture and seeing clearly now, I see a group that may have some clairvoyant abilities. You get sort of sudden downloads or images in your mind's eye of maybe what will happen next or what you need to do for your own good. And a group that when you get those images or downloads, you follow them wholeheartedly and really like believe completely in that guidance. And I sense that it leads you in the right path, that it always turns out well for you. You're someone that with the Giraffe Spirit here has set your goals very high. You want to pick the fruit at the top of the tree that no one else can get to, the fruit that is the most juicy and ripe. And with the Owl Spirit really honing in with that precise mentality, you have the determination and will to really like make your dreams come true. There's just a need for you to be mindful about how you sort of approach going after your goals so that you don't sort of put other people offside or maybe offend people with the way that you come across sometimes. But I do see a very loving individual, someone that really means well all of the time and that will do anything for anyone that is in need. Your final cards. Ooh, sacred sight and purpose. Purpose. Okay, there you go. And the North and solitude. Yeah, you're on your way to achieving some really amazing things in this life, pile too. This is my go-getter group, like the master manifestors. You're really drawing upon that sort of divine masculine energy, going out after your goals and not giving up until you achieve them. You have here the rune of Fehu, indicating like wealth and abundance, the sacred sight and purpose, the emperor and authority, along with the giraffe spirit and that need to like really reach the highest fruits on the top of the tree. Someone that will not stop until they achieve their very lofty goals, and the will with the emperor to actually make that happen. With sacred sight and the North and solitude, you're someone that likes to work alone also, I sense, pile too. You're not so much a loner. I sense someone that is a people person that really likes to like give yourself over to helping other people sometimes too, but you do want to achieve your goals on your own. You want your successes to be your own because you want to prove to yourself, I sense, what you can achieve in this life. Someone that like needs a lot of alone time too, with the sacred sight and the North and solitude. You need alone time probably to really like gather your thoughts and to work out what the next step is into achieving your goals. But with the Temperance card here, as I said, you've got that even balance in terms of like really wanting to go after your dreams and make your dreams come true, and the determination to do so with the Emperor. But the balance of having that softer side that is very fatherly and loving, that likes to provide and help other people in need. So basically a very well-rounded individual, really. Sometimes people can see you, though, also, pile two, I think, as being a little bit cold. With the owl spirit, which reminds me very much of like the Queen of Swords in the tarot deck, and the North Star and solitude, the polar bear being in the Arctic. People can sometimes see your approach or the way that you communicate as being a little bit cold and shut off. But it's only because you really want to achieve your own goals and make your own dreams come true. You know where you're going. Like Sagittarius shooting that arrow, you're following your North Node and your North Star and won't let anything get in your way. But just make sure that you do it in the most sort of authentic and polite, compassionate and patient manner. Finally, pile two, let's get some further messages from the Commonplace Tarot deck. A very well-rounded individual, though. Lots of fire in this reading with Temperance and the Emperor. You have water energy with the Two of Cups. And a lot of earth energy with the Sacred Sight. And air energy here too, with the Owl Spirit. A well-rounded individual that has all the tricks of the trade, basically. Your two cards that came out. Ooh, okay. They're interesting cards too. You have the Five of Pentacles. And you have the Tower card. I see some challenges coming your way, pal, too. Either that or you've been through them already. And potentially that's made you change the way that you approach your life. You're a little bit more gentle because you've been through some really hard trials. Something happened in your life that made you rethink your approach to life, and now you're a lot more compassionate and loving with the people around you and the way that you sort of approach your goals. I sense that, yeah, you've already been through this. You've had your tower moment. You've awakened to some degree and realized that, like, you need to be a little bit more gentle and compassionate with the way that you sort of approach going after these lofty goals that you have with the giraffe spirit here. And you're a lot sort of warmer and more compassionate, like the fatherly figure. Someone that wants to help and comfort and provide for the needs of other people also. I think you're starting to open up a little bit more. You are someone that's always needed a lot of alone time, and have always wanted to prove to yourself and to others that you can achieve your own goals. But I sense that you've started to open up and to rip that guard down. And I see that it's bringing a lot more like love and joy to your life. Things haven't always been easy with you with the Five of Pentacles. I sense that you've had some hardships too. But they've only sort of made you stronger and more determined. As I said, you're someone that won't let any hardships let you down or stop you. You've overcome this tower moment, and it's sort of allowed you to become a lot more balanced in your approach with dealing with like your own goals, but also wanting to be more compassionate and spend more time with your loved ones and your family. Yeah, you've overcome this Two of Cups in reverse moment where people thought that maybe you were often a little bit too emotional or came across as too impulsive. And you're learning to like balance out your approach to achieving your goals. And I commend you on that, pile too. Someone that like has started to see the light and what's the most important thing in life now. Seeing the bigger picture, seeing clearly, the North Node and the Tower indicating that you've been through a moment in life that has made you reflect upon who you were and what you want and what your priorities are. And now you're starting to change them in terms of wanting to be more compassionate and kind and caring, but still someone that has some strong, lofty goals that they want to achieve. So now you've got more things in your belt, your tool belt, to like aid you on your journey. That's all I have for you, pile 2. I hope it resonated with you. If it did, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so. And let's move on to pile 3. Hello there, pile 3. You have the rune of Gebo, which is a rune of like a gift, of giving a gift to someone. Generosity, being kind and generous, giving yourself over to somebody else or helping somebody out. In a sense, it's about you being a gift to other people to help them in need sometimes. It's also related to like partnerships too. I suppose like in a partnership, you help your partner out or you support each other. So it's about like love and support also, which is a really beautiful rune. But let's get some further insight about how other people see you and what your strengths and weaknesses are by starting with your tarot cards. Your first card is the Eight of Needles in reverse. Self-acceptance, healing, and freedom. Nice. You have the Seven of Needles in reverse. Okay, interesting. It says a confession, cowardice, and two-faced. Your final tarot is the Seven of Matches. Challenges, perseverance, and protection. Okay. First thing I'm noticing here for you, pile 3, are the two needles in reverse. So you're a very intellectual group. I sense you're a group that ruminates a lot of thoughts in your head. You're an overthinker, I sense, pile 3. People can see that about you, that you're someone that is in your head a lot. But people don't think that you are negative or downtrodden. You're not a depressive person in any sense because these cards are reversed. It doesn't mean that people see you in a negative light at all. because you've got the card here, Eight of Needles in reverse, self-acceptance, healing, and freedom. People see you as like a bit of a free thinker, someone that is a little bit unique in the way that they speak, potentially. Your communication patterns might be quite different. And just someone that is like, yeah, just a little bit different, but also has something sort of inspiring to say here with the Eight of Needles in reverse, healing and freedom. You are someone that is unpredictable to some degree, because people can't ever really sort of understand what you're going to say. You've managed to sort of stand in your own like power and are quite confident about who you are as a person. You have accepted yourself, and even though you might be very different in the way that you communicate or the way that you present yourself, people see you as being quite a sort of confident person. I do see, though, that you've had some challenges in your past with the Seven of Matches here, perseverance, protection. And I sense that potentially you've been hurt by other people in your past, and that's sort of, you haven't allowed that to really deter you in life. You've always persevered beyond those challenges, and people can pick up on that. Someone that is like determined not to let any negative situations in life hold them down. I see you being a group that has actually learnt from these experiences. But not only that, you're someone that chooses to learn from these experiences. You see life as like a big school in a sense, or choose to see life as a school that if something happens that is not the best or might be quite challenging, you ask yourself, okay, what am I learning out of this? What am I getting out of this? What is the universe trying to teach me? People see you as that person that doesn't get too down on themselves or doesn't allow frustration to set in when things don't work out for you. You are someone that sort of perseveres and overcomes challenges pretty quickly. And you learn from these experiences, pile 3, and continue moving forward. I also see someone that people feel quite comfortable around and opening up to. Even though you've got the card here of Seven of Needles, it says here cowardice and two-faced. I don't sense that's you. I sense that you are the person that people come to confess in, or to talk about their problems, because you are so comfortable with who you are, and you're a very strong communicator, quite unique. You've been through a lot of challenges, and people can see that. People see you as someone that they can really open up to and talk to. I bet you're that person, like in the family unit or at work, that people just always want to like go and gossip to about what's going on in their world, or open up about something that's really bothering them or challenging them. Also, you have some insight and wisdom, or just a very sort of comforting presence that people come to like confide in, or to ask for like assistance and guidance through certain challenges. Yeah, and with the rune here of Gebo, like being a gift and giving to other people, along with the word here of protection in the challenges, Seven of Matches card, and also the fact that you are self-accepting and free. People find your presence really uplifting, like that you are shining light, that person that tries to raise the spirits of people around you. And your unique character actually makes them more sort of drawn to you, because you're a little bit different and unique, and people just find that really endearing about you. They find you fascinating and interesting. As well as the fact that people can tell that you're quite intellectual and you have like some further insight that most people can't see. You're the kind of person that like tends to see things from a different perspective. As I mentioned earlier, if there's a problem or a challenge in your life, you try and find out what the deeper meaning is behind it, so you can bring a different perspective to someone's trials and tribulations in life, and allow them to maybe change their mindset on certain situations. I do, though, see a group that possibly needs to like be mindful of the words they use. You are a very strong communicator. very witty and intelligent, I sense, especially with the Seven of Needles here, that person that can just like think of the words they want to use, a very sharp wit that can be quite scathing sometimes if you choose to be, with the Seven of Matches here and a lot of fire presence also. Someone that can be very fiery and very witty and just have those off-the-cuff remarks that can really cut people down. So because you're a very loving and giving individual, it's in your best interest, I sense, pile 3, to like really be quite mindful of the words that you use. And I think people tend to respect that because I think you've learnt from the past about like maybe saying things or talking about people behind their backs that's come back to bite you. And so you've learnt from that. And now just try to operate from being a very genuine, authentic, and like caring kind of individual. Lovely. Let's move on to your next cards, pile 3. You have the koi fish spirit. There is always enough. And the cow spirit. The miracles are endless. Okay. So he's a very optimistic individual. With both of these cards, the koi fish spirit, there's always enough, and the cowfish, and the cow spirit, miracles are endless. You're someone that is very optimistic. You see like the silver lining in any challenge in life. You see sort of challenges as like an opportunity to grow and expand. Someone that's very positive and uplifting. And because of it, I think that you've overcome a lot of challenges and things are really starting to fall in place for your life right now. People see you as like a magnet for good opportunity. Things just sort of start to like work out for you. Even if you have some challenges, you're that person that really always believes in themselves and brings positive energy to any situation. You see life as like a game where you can actually achieve whatever you want. And that positivity is really like endearing and alluring, I sense, pile 3. People are really drawn to you. You're a people person. I see that you're in a really good place right now too. You've overcome these challenges with the Seven of Matches. You fought off those contenders trying to knock you off your pedestal. And now you're in a place of really being quite happy with who you are, with the words here of self-acceptance, and there is always enough. You've got everything that you need in life and you're quite grateful for it. And I think that you're one of those people that tries to like spread that energy to other people, of encouraging people to see things from a different perspective and always be grateful for whatever is coming to them in life, what they have in life, but any challenges that come, you try and encourage them to see how it can be beneficial to them and what the blessings are from that situation. And your final cards, you have Medicine Shield and Protection. Interesting. So you got the word protection twice there. Protection in the Seven of Matches and protection in the Medicine Shield. And your final card is Cave and Retreat. So the first thing that I did notice is the word of protection twice. I sense that you're the kind of person that really gives out the protective energy. As I mentioned with the rune of Gebo, a very nurturing and giving individual, a very like selfless individual that is really kind and compassionate and offers themselves over to other people in need. I see a group here, pile 3, that is probably likes to give a lot to charity. You spend a lot of time sort of working for the greater good or helping people in need. I also see a group here that could really benefit from working in the medical or healing industry here, with the word of healing and self-acceptance. And the Medicine Shield, a strong indication that you have some healing qualities. You're a healer to some degree. And I sense that you heal through your communication, your presence and the words that you use, the way that you speak and the things that you say. You draw upon your previous experiences and know how to like lift people up, but also how to guide people out of certain challenges. People really admire you because they see the strength of resolve based on what you've been through in the past. But also you just have a really sort of like warming and gentle presence that just makes people feel really at home here with the cave at home. You're like that place that they can go to retreat and just get out of the darkness and start to feel alive again. You help people sort of understand themselves better. I do see, though, a group that potentially has the ability to really like withdraw from reality too. And the reason I say that is because you've got the cave and retreat indicating that you may retreat sometimes if you are sort of overwhelmed with other people's problems or burdens. Along with the Eight of Needles here and the Shield card, I sense sometimes you need to be really quite wary of like not allowing yourself to self-medicate to some degree. I see a group that maybe tries to escape from reality and certain challenges and problems sometimes when things get too overwhelming by potentially self-medicating or by dabbling in some sort of addiction or bad habit that just tries to shut your mind off. Because you are an overthinker too, you use other ways to try and shut off, and sometimes that can be to a detriment to you, I sense, pile 3. So that's something to be mindful of. And I think it's also something that people are quite wary of. They see someone that is very vulnerable, very, very sensitive and compassionate, but sometimes maybe takes too much on. You take on too many burdens from other people, so you need your time alone to recharge and recuperate. With the koi fish here, the fish related to Pisces. Pisceans are like the extreme escapists that I guess are the most sensitive of the zodiac, so that they use certain methods to escape from reality, to deal with those strong emotions that they're feeling. This is a highly intellectual group, but someone that is also very emotive, I sense also. Finally, for you, pile 3, I see a group that really could do anything. This is a group that has the gifts to probably go anywhere or do anything in life. You'd make an excellent healer, a group that would make a fantastic psychologist or a counselor, using your words to try and heal and strengthen other people's resolve and bring out the best in other people. Maybe like a career counselor too. You have the gift of being able to see other people's strengths and point them out to them. But with the miracles are endless, and the arrows in every direction and the medicine shield protection, you have the ability to do many, many different things in life. And I see that as a blessing. You are a gift in a sense that you could do so many different things. You are gifted and talented. But there's something about your voice, the way you think and communicate, that is very strong and people find highly endearing. Finally, for you, pile 3, let's get some further messages from the Commonplace Tarot deck. You're definitely a very compassionate person too. I see a lot of animals in this reading, with the koi fish, the eagle in the medicine shield, the raccoon, the beaver in the 7 and 8 of needles, and the cow here. You're a very loving, warm individual that probably likes animals. A very you like to spend a lot of time in nature and around animals, I sense. You'd make a beautiful, like a great farmer, or working in like the healing industry with animals too. You'd make a great veterinarian or a vet nurse or something like that. But also a group that I see is very protected. In this lifetime, you're very protected in this lifetime. You've got the medicine shield and protection. You have the word protection in the 7 of Wands challenges card, but a group that could retreat into a cave to hide out for warmth and protection when needed. Your guides are really looking out for you in this lifetime. Your ancestors are here and present and really sort of guiding you and protecting you. The 2 cards that you have are the 4 of Wands, and you also have the 4 of Pentacles in reverse. Pile 4, I love the synchronicity of the 2 4s to start with. 4 being about a solid foundation, a very grounded individual that has really like learnt from certain challenges in your past and overcome them and know that they were for your greater good. But I do see, as I mentioned earlier, a group that potentially has the ability to maybe dabble a little too much in escapist techniques to try and overcome like overwhelming feelings when people are sort of placing their burdens or problems on you too much. And you find it really hard to let go of these things. For you, one of your challenges in life is overcoming like your attachments and the need to escape from reality. So that's something that you'll continue to need to work on in your future, pile 3. Just be mindful of not using certain attachments or addictions to escape the way you're feeling. You could also do really well, I think, pile 3, with also communicating with other people about how you're feeling. But I sense you already know that anyway, because you've done that in your past a lot. But finally, a group that really like needs alone time or just time around certain people that you consider to be your family and home. You've got the card of retreat here and the cave, which to me indicates like having to escape or be at home in that environment, which is really warm and comforting to you, along with the 4 of Wands, which is like the card of homecoming, but indicating that for you, you're most happy when you're at home around your friends and family in your own environment and feeling protected. People get the vibe of like a homebody from you. Someone that is very loving and warm, motherly, but just likes to be at home around your loved ones. That's where you're most comfortable. That's all I see for you, pile 3. I hope it resonated with you. If it did, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And let's move on to pile 4. Welcome, pile 4. You had the rune of Northers, which is a rune associated with necessities in life, things that you can't live without. Those things that would be, I guess, those things are constraining that we need in life. It can be about your direction in life. It can be about your personality, which this reading is all about. So help people see your strengths and weaknesses. On that, let's get some further messages from your tarot cards. Ooh, you have the card of Justice. Cause and effect, truth, fairness. Nice. You have the Knight of Buttons, responsibility, patience, accomplish. Lovely. And you have the 10 of Cups in reverse, disharmony, separation. Okay. I see for you, pile 4, with the 10 of Cups in reverse, disharmony and dysfunction, along with the rune associated with constraint. You haven't always had an easy run in life. You've had your ups and downs, along with the card of Justice here, which is all about balance and going through karmic cycles. You've dealt with a lot of karma. You've been through some certain challenges. Things haven't always been so easy. People can see that in you. They see someone that has always sort of battled through, but persevered. I see a group that is like really diligent, like the Knight of Buttons here, sort of very patient and diligent, has worked through certain challenges or karmic cycles. I sense people see someone that has never given up. I'd call you like a battler, someone that has had to battle for everything in life. And people find that quite endearing, I sense. They see someone that is very determined, that even though you've been through lots of ups and downs in your life, you're still fighting, you're still here, and you're still working towards your dreams and working towards like your own goals in life. You are someone that continues to like battle through the challenges in life, but I do see that you always end up sort of working it out. With the Justice card here and balance, you always manage to get through. Things turn out okay for you in the end. Someone that may have ups and downs, but people see you as like always managing to land on 2 feet and be okay. A very hard-working group too, pile 4. This is a very determined and very conscientious, hard-working group. People see you as like very dedicated and determined. And also I see someone that, even though they've been through a lot of challenges and you've had a hard run in life, you've really had to work hard for what you've got in your world, it hasn't affected the way you treat people. You're a very kind-hearted and just individual, someone that always wants the best for other people also. I sense that you're working towards like turning this 10 of Cups in the upright position, pile 4, because it's your turn. It's your time to have everything that you want in life because you've been through such hardships in your past. You're working very, very solidly to have your own house and to raise a family and to find that place where you're just happy with who you are and what you've got. And people can see that in you. I do see a group though that calls out any BS that they see here with the card of Justice and the 10 of Cups, disharmony. If someone's not treating you well, you have the ability to really call them out on it. A very sharp wit, I sense also, similar to pile 3 in that sense. You know what to say at the right moment, and you call people out on their bullshit. You also have the ability to see when someone is lying to you, I sense. This is a group, because you've been through so much, you've learned from those experiences, and you can really tell when someone's not being honest with you and when things aren't working out in your favor. I see a group that really can just cut people off and move on from a certain relationship if you know that people have like mistreated you or have sort of talked about you behind your back or something like that. You don't tolerate much BS, pile 4. But generally a very fair and loving individual that wants the best for everyone around you, despite having been through your own challenges. You haven't let those things affect you, which is really commendable. Moving on, pile 4, your oracle cards. You have the flamingo spirit, embrace the in-between. Okay. And you have the mouse spirit, tend to the small things. All right. So those 2 cards really, I think, reflect what I was saying earlier about someone that has had to challenge themselves through life, through all of these trials and tribulations and ups and downs. You've always been very determined, like the mouse in the tend to the small things. You've kept going, you've kept moving, and just have done those things that you've needed to do to make sure that you can overcome any challenge and keep progressing towards your dreams. Small steps, I see, with the 10 to the small things. The mouse is all about taking baby steps, like the Knight of Buttons, working slowly to build a solid foundation and working towards your dreams. With the embrace the in-between and the flamingo spirit, that's all about you constantly having to like overcome challenges and being in that state of where you don't know if things are going to work out for you or not. You're not always sure about what's going on in your life or whether your dreams will come true or if something that you are putting all of your energy towards will actually turn out for the best. You've started to get comfortable with the unknown, I sense, pile 4. And you've just kept going anyway. This was a group that really hasn't always had strong guidance or hasn't had a lot of support, I sense, from other people. Potentially because of your past and your backgrounds, you've sort of always had to rely on yourself. Responsibility here. Somebody that like is maybe sometimes not always so trustworthy. I sense that potentially you've been burned in the past, and so for you to open up to people and really trust people takes a lot. People really need to commit to you and show you so strongly that they are loyal to you before you allow them into your world and to be able to give you advice or to help you. You are someone that stands on your own 2 feet and wants to like achieve your goals on your own. And that can be both positive and negative in the sense that like people see you as a very determined and strong individual, but sometimes they see that maybe you need some help and you don't let people in, and that can be to your own detriment. So part of your life lessons, I sense, pile 4, is to allow other people in to help you and to not always feel the need to just do everything on your own, to learn to trust people a little bit more, to let go a little bit of that need to be in control of absolutely everything. I see a group that is probably very controlling, and just likes things their own way. But because of that, you're always faced to deal with the unknown. The universe is trying to allow you to let go a little bit and to let people in and break down that barrier that you've put up. But a very strong, determined, even stubborn individual, and I mean that in a very good way, stubborn in the sense that you won't let anything stop you from achieving your goals. And finally, you have the upper world future. Nice. And you have the card of crystals and amplification. Beautiful. So what I see from that, this is a bit of a channel message, but what I see is that your future is looking bright. With the amplification here in crystals, your world amplifying, things starting to fall into place, things getting brighter and achieving success. And your future is all about, your future is looking really bright here. I see that if you continue to work and overcome these challenges, stay strong to who you are and persevere, tend to the small things and keep going pile forward, that you're going to have ultimate success. Your future is looking really bright and you'll have like this foundation that you can really build upon. And I see a lot of abundance and wealth in your future too, because you're a very determined individual. So just know that if you keep working at your dreams, that those constraints that you've had in the past will eventually fall away. You're working through your karma here with the Justice card. I sense that people see someone that is determined to be successful at all costs. You won't give up, you persevere. A very stubborn individual that just knows what they want and will not let other people deter them from achieving their goals, which I think is really commendable. I also see a group, though, that potentially can be quite shy and introverted. With the Ten of Cups here in reverse, and the mouse being that really shy, sort of coy individual, someone that doesn't open up to a lot of people, that potentially has some social interaction issues. You may have social anxiety potentially, or people sometimes perceive you as lacking confidence in social situations, I sense anyway. But I do see that as something that you will overcome in your future with the crystals card and amplification. Yeah, the keyword for you here, pile 4, is perseverance. Just keep working at your dreams. Let's get some further insight about how people see you from the Commonplace Tarot deck. The flamingo spirit too. Flamingos are very loving animals. They have their soulmate. They commit to a certain partner their entire life. So I see that as like when you actually let down your guard and do let people in, that you are quite a loyal and loving individual. Along with the Justice card, you're very committed and always fair and honest and very loyal to people when you actually learn to trust them and let them in. But one of your challenges in life is actually breaking down that barrier and overcoming your own sort of shyness or social issues, so that you can allow more people in to help you also on your journey. Oh gosh. Okay. So the first card that came out is the Ten of Cups again in reverse. That's the same as what you've got here. You have 2 Ten of Cups in reverse. Someone that has been through quite a lot. I sense that maybe you had challenges in your childhood, in your upbringing. Maybe you had you may have come from a broken family, or a family that wasn't the most loving, potentially. Somehow in your upbringing, you were maybe bullied, potentially, for being quite shy and introverted. So you've had some really strong challenges. And your next card is the Tower card. Oh, gosh. I see you working through a lot of karma. Pile 4. A group that really has had a lot of challenges in life. With the 10 of Cups in reverse, the Tower card. And the Justice card here, cause and effect. You've had to really work quite diligently to overcome a lot of like pain and grief and personal challenges. You put up a lot of walls because of certain griefs and situations in your past, but I see that you are working through this too. Not only are you working towards your dreams and your goals, a very dedicated, diligent individual, but someone that is very dedicated to overcoming your own sort of personal issues. I see you working through these challenges with like a psychologist or something. And I sense that people can see that in you, that you are very slowly starting to open up to people. You are expanding, like the amplification card in crystals here, starting to open up to people slowly more and more with more work that you do with getting help from certain individuals. And I sense that your future is looking very bright. The more work that you do to overcome these challenges and the more that you dedicate yourself to your own goals, I see that your time is coming with the Justice card. It's time for you to balance the scales and actually have a happy life and turn these two 10 of Cups in the upright position. People see you as a very determined individual that can be very, I guess, quite shy and introverted and quite hard to crack, basically. But they do see you as a very loyal and honest individual, someone that when you let people in, they know that you have their back and vice versa. I hope that resonated with you, Pile 4. If it did, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.